It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business, ladies. Chantal, Leanne from Accelerator Centre. We're so excited to have you here in Bermuda with us. And before we get started with the questions, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself? So we'll start with you, Leanne.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Leanne Henderson. I'm the Programs Director at the Accelerator Centre. We're based out of Waterloo in Ontario in Canada. And we really support early stage startups, helping them get through to the point of scale. So my role at the AC is really about designing programs that will help support them get to that point of scaling. And then working with organizations internationally, such as BEDC, to help build kind of different opportunities internationally for startups in Waterloo and also international startups.
Perfect.
Great, and I am Chantal. So I manage our international programming in addition to our core flagship program, our incubation program. So that's a program where we support companies from early ideation, just an idea, all the way to scale.
Okay, perfect. And so, of course, you're here because we also have an incubator program called Enterprise Bermuda, and we're so excited to have been able to partner with you on expanding the offering for that program, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about your program and what you do for your startups in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So I'll start with our core incubation program. So this is a program where we support companies, like I mentioned, from early ideation. So they might just have an idea, and then we have 4 different phases that these companies go through all the way to scale. And, some of this program, it's based off of some best practices that we've seen, working with startups for over a decade. And then part of this program, they get access to mentorship, to resources, to really help support their company in the growth.
Okay. Yeah, and we recently launched a brand new program called AC Studio. The program is funded through FedDev Ontario, which is our provincial government that's designed to help innovation within Southern Ontario. And a lot of the feedback we heard from our founders was that the mentorship was really great and helpful, but they didn't have either the time, the money, or the resources to actually act on some of the things that these mentors were advising them on. So we've created the AC Studio program to, one, provide seed funding up to $100,000 for these companies, as well as give them access to freelance resources who can do the work for them. So if they're working with a mentor and a mentor says, hey, you should really update your website, if they don't have the skills to do that, it's really hard to find someone who can do that.
That's right.
So this program introduces them to freelancers that we can connect them with and help pay for the resources to actually do things like update their website, develop their product, help with their marketing, all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I know with our program, it's free to be in it. You have to apply to get in it. And the reason why it's free is because we recognize that some startups or some people, as they're starting their business, they don't necessarily have the capital to actually do some of the things like you said.
Yeah.
So ours is a little bit reversed, but I think the opportunity for us is we're treating this like a startup as well, that we're like, okay, what do we have to do to adjust?
Yeah.
What do we have to do to change? And that's kind of where you guys came in. We were looking for a way to get a curriculum or platform to support how we support our incubators. And then we found you. We were like, yes, we like what they're doing. And so now you're here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you questions about how has it been working with our organization, with the BEDC, and what do you see, how do you see it evolving and changing? And I'll start with you.
Yeah. So to start, it's been incredible working with BEDC. It's such a wonderful, exciting team to work with. And I think the biggest difference for us, especially, we focus really on technology companies, these tech-based companies. A lot of them are working virtually. A lot of them are scaling quickly and then moving, whether it's to Toronto, to the US. The really neat thing that we've experienced so far since being here is being able to drive around and point out, oh, we've helped this company, this company, this company, and being able to see like the physical impact that it's had on Bermuda. So I think there's lots of opportunities moving forward of how we can continue to support these companies, whether it's giving them access to our founders to learn a little bit more like founder-to-founder learnings, whether it's all of our programming is delivered virtually, all of our events are hybrid, so they can tune in to any of our events or workshops that we might be running. Or if any of these companies are interested in entering the Canadian or US market, Canada is a really great place to start when entering the North American market. So we can provide lots of opportunities and learnings on how to enter the Canadian market, what maybe the differences might be between Bermuda and Canada, what to focus on when they're coming into the Canadian market, something we can certainly help with.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting for me because for us, like a lot of the businesses that we support are lifestyle businesses, and that it's like, okay, this is I'm a solopreneur or sole proprietor, and so this is my business that I'm using to help support my lifestyle and make sure that I do what I need to do. We would love to see more tech companies. Like we really do want to focus our energy in supporting young people who have these great ideas, who I think, because I mentioned to you, we don't really have a university. So when they go off to college to get their 4-year degrees or these master's degrees or whatever, on occasion they may or may not come back because they feel like they don't have the support that they need. So we're hoping that through partnerships like with you and with other organizations that we can kind of provide that support to kind of encourage them to think bigger and scale and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're hoping, and what you say is exactly what we're interested in doing, is creating those opportunities by partnering with you. And who knows? I don't know. Can we come to Waterloo?
Anytime.
But no, that excites me because I feel like it's definitely something that we want to see. Because Bermuda's small, as you've seen. So it's nice to be able to have access to those kind of things even if it's virtually in the first instance.
Yeah.
So Chantal, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen in that your focus is on the international kind of partnerships and relationships?
Yeah. So something I did want to mention is that's the beauty of these companies working with BEDC, because your eyes are global and you're looking to different hubs and areas for support. So what a great opportunity to be a part of what you're doing here with BEDC, and then we can open it up to be open to other opportunities internationally, which and I think Leanne, I don't know if you want to talk about some of our other partnerships that we've seen internationally too, but connecting these pieces is also what's helping to support those entrepreneurs and those founders, because there's resources that we can help and share with.
Yes, and we'll take it.
Absolutely. And I mean, our goal at the AC is our Vision 2025, what we call it, and our CEO Jay has come up with this really bold vision for us to be the #1 full stack startup hub around the world. So that's working with entrepreneurs, working with folks like BEDC internationally to help create almost these landing pads of places that founders can go to find success. It doesn't always have to be in Canada. But then also bringing those international founders to Waterloo to help grow the Waterloo ecosystem as well. And Waterloo and Ontario in general is a bit of a melting pot. It's very diverse, lots of different backgrounds and experiences working in Waterloo to create this really thriving ecosystem of technology and startups. It's one of the other groups that we work with is based out of Costa Rica. So we're helping them, Procomer, take 10 to 12 of their really high potential startups and SMEs in Costa Rica and provide them that experience to learn more about Canada and entering the Canadian market. So ideally, in the next 5 years, we have all these kind of little spots in Bermuda, in Costa Rica, in Europe, in Asia, where we have these connections that we can connect founders to Waterloo and all these other international kind of hotspots that are really thriving and growing.
I love that. I mean, we see now that the world is compacting on itself. It's getting smaller and smaller, right? The more we use technology and these resources to reach outside of our own jurisdictions, it's easier to form these connections. And certainly through actively seeking partnerships. And I think with organizations that have that kind of like-minded goal, that's what we want. We want to see that. And the same way you guys want to build your kind of ecosystem in Waterloo, we're looking to build the ecosystem in Bermuda. So if there's opportunities for businesses to come here, and who knows, I definitely would agree that there is opportunity to have this kind of a mesh network of partnerships that with the ultimate goal of helping to grow the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So we're on the same page there. So one of the reasons why you're here is that we are in the process, or we have just launched our 5th cohort for Enterprise Bermuda. And I want to say that in the past, we started with 6 entrepreneurs, right? And then we went to 8. And that was primarily based on our ability to house the entrepreneurs, right? So with our program, they get space for 12 months. And we only had space for 8 in these, in our location on Church Street. So now we have these 3 hubs, of which you saw one yesterday in Somerset, and then we have 2 in our other economic empowerment zone, St. George's and North Hamilton. And so now we have about 33 entrepreneurs that we are going to support in this next cohort 5. So we've invited you down to meet them because we feel like, it's because of the partnership that we have with you that we're going to be able to support 3 times as many entrepreneurs as we were. So can you talk a little bit about the platform that we're going to be using to do that?
Yeah, of course. So one of the platform is called the Biz Planner, and that gives companies access to sort of the resources that are here at the BEDC. So they can, log in, track their metrics, track their progress, and then they have access to Nikki as an incubation lead who's going to help support them in their growth and checking in on them. So this platform is really an opportunity for all of the cohorts to come together virtually and really learn, like through the platform. You can communicate with one another and have that opportunity as well. So I feel like you have that physical space, and now you also have the virtual space that these entrepreneurs can log into and help keep accountability also through the program as well, which is going to be really important as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, so we work with anywhere from like 70 to 120 companies at any given time. And I think that's a huge testament to Chantal and her team and how engaged they are, because entrepreneurship can generally be quite a lonely journey. The way we've designed our kind of client experience piece around it that we're sharing with you is those regular check-ins, which Nikki will be so critical in, of almost creating a friend that these founders can connect with, run through scenarios with, bounce ideas off of, and just have like a very neutral third party who's just there to support them. We found that that's been so helpful in helping our entrepreneurs in Canada just have somebody there who can connect them with a mentor or a freelancer or just someone who's got their back and looking out for them is so, so important. So I think the platform gives you the ability to do that with so many more entrepreneurs in Bermuda.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Of course, there's, what do you call it, when you have to, you're slowly adoption, right? Because it's new for us, but we knew, like, if we're going to expand the program to help like 3 times as many entrepreneurs, we have to have something, right, to use as a tool to help us and help them to stay accountable to what it is that they said. So we're really excited about using it. So far, so good. You mentioned Nikki. She is the incubation lead. Thank God for Nikki. We love Nikki. But no, I'm really excited about this, and we've been telling this particular cohort, like, we're testing this out. This is new for us too, but I'm hopeful that it will be helpful to them, and it will allow them to kind of forge those connections. And then what I'm most excited about is something that you mentioned earlier, Leanne, is about the opportunity to add in that, your entrepreneurs and your startups as well. So now it's going outside of this Bermuda network and reaching out to some of the other jurisdictions, whether it's Waterloo or Costa Rica or any of those other ones. Like, the possibilities to me are as broad as we can make it. So one of the things I want to ask you about is your program is how long?
So our core incubation program is 2 years long.
Okay, so it's, wow, okay. 24 months, that's good. And why? Why is it?
Yeah, so because we can support companies from like I said, early ideation all the way to scale, it can be up to a 2-year journey. So the nature of our program is very high touch. So we really get to know each founder, each company, what their needs are. And because those companies are growing within those 2 years, we also get to know their team too, right?
Okay.
So companies have access, their team also has access to the resources at the AC. So because it's, early ideation to scale, it's that full 2-year journey.
And I think too, the opportunity, the goal at the end of it is to help these companies get funding, get access to later stage Series A funding. And a lot of that is helping them build relationships with investors, whether they're in Canada or international, early on with that pre-seed and seed round. So it's a longer journey for sure. And we also help companies across all industries. So we work with a lot of software companies, but we also work with a lot of clean tech and med tech companies. And just the nature of their business models, it can take a really long time for them to get to market because there is so much capital and research needed to develop their products. So we've extended it to that 2-year time frame to really support some of those deeper tech companies and just getting to that point where they're market ready and starting to sell their product.
And I know we haven't talked to this offline, but I'm going to talk about it now. It's like I said to you earlier, we really do want to develop sort of a tech hub.
Yeah.
And we've identified Northeast Hamilton as that hub. And so we have, within this cohort, we have about 4 companies that I think would fit. And I feel like if there's an opportunity for us to leverage, whether it's your mentors or whatever videos that you have to kind of support them specifically, that would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have to talk to Jay. So.
Jay,
don't want to put me on the spot, but it's all about partnership, right? That's what we're doing.
And I think it's a really great opportunity for us to connect some of the founders who are working on tech here in Bermuda, some of the founders that we're working with, depending on like what type of technology they're building, the types of customers they're looking for.
Okay.
Our mentors are incredible and can really provide that strategic support for sure. And then our founders can provide that experiential support.
Yeah.
So like, I've been there where you are. I know what you're trying to go through. I know what you're trying to achieve. And then kind of talking through their shared experiences together on how they can kind of collaborate, work together. And it might even be a great opportunity for some of our founders to get connected here in Bermuda and your Bermuda founders to get connected in Waterloo as well.
Sure.
So there's a lot of great opportunities that we can support those tech companies with.
No, I love that. It really does get me excited to think about the possibilities, right? It's just about how to do it, right? How do we make those connections and all of that? So we'll figure it out, but that you guys are into it is good.
Absolutely.
Good. So once the 24 months ends, what happens then with you guys?
Yeah, so we try to stay really connected with those who complete our program. It's not after the 2 years, we're like, bye, like, good luck, see you later. So we still have continued support. We have an alumni program, so companies can still have access to the resources that we have at the AC to support them or their growing team, like I said earlier. And then we also encourage our alumni to give back. So whether that's, a mentorship opportunity where they can, join our team and help support those earlier stage companies, share some lessons learned as well, right? Because that's also really important, is making those connections too. If you've done it, you can share the scars on your back. Right?
Exactly. It's like, don't do this. It didn't work when I did.
Yeah, and we have such an incredible group of companies who have graduated from our programming. We often have early stage founders coming in and being like, we have a wall in our main building of all of the alumni who have graduated. So they'll come into our building and be like, I can't wait to be on that wall, kind of. And then being able to point out, like, this founder at this company on our wall did something very similar to what you're doing. Yeah. How can we kind of connect you with them is really important to us.
I think that's great. And that's what we would love to have here, like an active alumni kind of network. Because for us, we can talk and we're like, yes, you should do this, and that's how you do a business plan, but it's nothing like hearing it from someone who's actually been there, done that.
Yes.
And like you said, they can provide you with those, skip that step, right? that is a pitfall. That's a cliff that you don't want to go over. And so that's what we're looking for. And whether we get it from your startups or someone else, then as long as it's available to be given to the entrepreneurs as they are traveling along this journey, then I think it's a win, right? Everybody wins. But no, I'm really excited. So we're almost at the end of our discussion, but I want to give each of you an opportunity to say what it is, I guess, about entrepreneurship that excites you, what it is about working with the startups, with Accelerator Centre that really excites you, and what do you envision for either your role or for the startups or for Accelerator Centre in the future?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay. I asked like 5 questions.
So if I miss one, let me know.
Okay.
But something that I truly enjoy so much about working with founders and startups particularly is I've met so many incredible people, so many strong, resilient, very interesting people, and they're people that I admire, and just to know that I've had an opportunity to help support them on their journey too is really fulfilling in that way. And then also now that we get to expand that piece internationally, so to also support founders who are coming from Costa Rica, Bermuda, that's been really exciting as well, and I can't wait to continue doing that specifically. So that's mine.
Yeah, very similar to Chantal. I have a background in environmental studies, environmental science, and we have a huge focus at the AC on supporting companies who are looking to achieve one of the UN sustainability goals.
Okay.
So I always find it so fascinating to work with these really, really early stage companies who just have an idea that I could have never thought of in my wildest dreams, and just to see them take that just an idea that they had and then watch them go through and start hiring people and selling and just kind of living out their dreams of what they really wanted to do and working for themselves, starting at this idea is so fascinating to watch. And I've had the privilege of being with the AC for 3.5 years now, so it's so exciting to see companies that I worked with when I first started at the AC being wildly successful now. So it's that long-term gain, I think, too, that's really exciting. And as far as what we're doing and what we're looking to achieve with the AC, we mentioned Jay a little bit. So Jay is our CEO. He started with us in March of 2021. And he's just done incredible things for the AC since he started. He has a really global perspective. He's been an entrepreneur. He's been in the VC world. So he brings so much wealth of knowledge and experience. So I'm really looking forward to learning more from Jay and seeing how it impacts our organization, getting the opportunity to just go around the world and meet other places doing incubation, working with startups like BEDC, and just getting to learn all about the different kind of ecosystems around the world and being able to pull ideas from all of those to really continue to help startups back in Waterloo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I am glad that we have the opportunity to meet each other and work together, and I'm definitely looking forward to what this partnership can turn into. All of those things that you mentioned, I think are great opportunities, not just for your startups, but for ours as well. And so, I think our visions align. So we are headed down this journey and this road together. But I want to thank you, Chantal. Thank you, Leanne, for being here. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to meet the entrepreneurs at the induction ceremony and graduation. And I just want to say enjoy the rest of your time in Bermuda. I promise not to take up all of it, but I want you to see the island. I want you to see the businesses that we support, and hopefully you'll get to come back and we'll get to come back.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'm down for that. But thank you, ladies. And I do have a catchphrase for the show.
Okay.
It's called Mind Your Business, as you know. And so the catchphrase is, if you don't mind your business, who will? Right?
Okay.
Who's going to do it? Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.